probably last, we got Barb. I'm a boundaries coach and having a hard time defining what Island A is since there are so many issues that are impacted by boundaries. I could use some help with that. If there's time defining Island B, it would be good to get help with too. Okay, well, Barb, where are you calling from?
I am on the East Coast in New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay. Oh, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, well, boundaries coach, we were talking about you earlier.
I know. I messaged her and I was like, we got to talk because I know several other people that work on boundaries. So I'd love to introduce her. And I want to say I found you 16 days ago and I've literally been swimming in your content and it's changed everything for me. And I'm leaving my other coaching group and I'm joining yours next week. But I've learned a lot. I mean, a ton. So what I did before this call was go through my people that have actually been my clients and looked at what did they say to me was going on. So I pulled out some themes, and I think that my clear statement that isn't so succinct is I work with woo professional women like managers, business owners, and nonprofit workers who are self-neglecting overgivers. And so this is some of what's going on Island A. They are afraid of upsetting other people. And they get anxious when other people are upset. They try to keep the peace and make sure people are happy. They really don't trust themselves to know like what's real and what's not real. Is what I think I need real, or is it what they're telling me that I need is real? So they defer to other people's judgments. They beat themselves up all the time for not knowing things, for not following through on boundaries. And then if they do set boundaries, they either cave or they get to the point where they explode and they lose their voices. And a couple other things they have in common is they have really chaotic, busy lives because they never say no to people. And then they probably look on the outside like they have their shit together, whereas internally they're falling apart. So those are some of the things that I have, but that feels like a lot.
Right. Okay. So if all of those things are true about somebody's life, what's the end result of all of that? What is it? What happens?
They want a life of balance.
No. What's the effect of all those things?
Oh, the effect of it?
Of everything you just listed. Like if somebody has all of that happening, what's the effect on their life?
So sometimes they feel suicidal, their relationships are falling apart. They don't know if they can continue going on this way. They don't have any faith in themselves. They've lost hope.
Right. There's a kind of burnout. They feel like they're just hanging on by their fingernails at this point. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty clear to me. Again, I would try drawing it out. I would do the doodle.
I do. I've got my Island A, I've got my Island B. I'm working on my bridge and all that stuff, but I just, there's so much.
There is. So this is the very tough homework is once you get the Island A, you got the kind of bare bones, you got a drawing, you got some thoughts, sum it up into 7 words. Imagining you ask them, you said, look, I'll tell you what, I'll give you free coaching if you can sum up your issue accurately in 7 words. What's going on for you? What would they say if they were desperate for the help? Yeah. And then 3 words. You say, okay, I was just kidding. Okay, but for real now, free coaching. In fact, free coaching, I'll give you $100,000. If you can do it in 3 words, what are the 3 words? And we think, but that's fucking impossible. It's really not. It's really not impossible. It's impossible for us because we're just from the outside and but for them, their symptoms are very simple to them.
Yeah.
Their symptoms are really bad acne, not enough clients, overweight, underweight, scared to say no. From their perspective, if you really press your clients and you say, what is the core issue in just a few words? What's the heart of it? They know. They know what their symptoms are by definition, because the symptom is something they're aware of. Now, is that what's really going on? Is there more under the surface? Of course. but they do know their symptoms. So we have a hard time summing it up because we have this diagnosis and we see all these things. But so that's one thing, is see if you can do that, and even try asking your clients. Like if you had to sum up, like if I could wave a magic wand, we could solve your most pressing issue. And we just wave it and it's done. We can move on to other more interesting stuff. That one's finished. What's the one issue you'd want to solve? You've got 7 words start to, or 3 words start to the issue. They'll know.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing, which is, first of all, I think what you've got is probably, it's good. It's clear enough. And it's well clear enough to get going. You know, I got the 70% rule. If what you have is at least 70% clear, just go. So go. You're fine. You can go ahead. But if anyone ever feels stuck, like you're drowning in niching exercises and you got so many words, now what the fuck? Drawing it out, one will help. But the other thing you can do is you switch from the who to the what. And you say, okay, here's the setup. Imagine a group of these people came to you. And they are, there's 12, 20, however many. And they say, we discovered you 17 days ago. We've been just, binging on your stuff. We love it. We want your help. You're the one. That's not up for grabs. It's absolutely you. And we would like a year-long experience to work on this difficulty we have saying no and setting boundaries. Because we really want to, by the end of this year, we want this handled. We want this done. Will you design a year-long program for us? By the way, we're fucked up, but we're rich. So don't worry about what you charge. So we'll pay. And you get to design anything you want because you're the one. So whatever you design, they're going to be thrilled with. It's worth sitting down and just thinking, what's the thing I really want to do? Yeah. And once you've designed that, then you look at it and you say, okay, now who is this for? And you can reverse engineer and you can get a bit more clarity about who you're trying to reach by looking at what you really want to offer at the end. So that's another way to do it.
Yeah. Thank you. Really helpful. And thank you to all the folks who've made comments.
Okay.
Really helpful. Some of those I've absolutely said, because I'm a former people pleaser. I'm coaching former me is who I'm coaching.
Yeah, and again, the other way is, what are they saying to themselves in that picture? That can be a headline. That can sum it up. And if somebody has a pattern of overgiving, there are a lot of roots of that, reasons they do that. There's a lot of effects. So you can also sometimes just pick one. This is the one I most resonate with. You can hone in on the essence of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the reason people, because now there's more and more people who are boundaries coaches, I've noticed there's, growing cadre of folks. So, if you reach out to a podcast and you say, hey, I'd like to be on your podcast, and it's a health podcast, and you say, I'm a health coach, will you let me on your podcast? The answer is no. Because, believe me, they get messages from health coaches all the time saying, hey, I thought about being healthy. And if you reach out and you say, no, I'm not just a health coach, I'm a weight loss coach. Believe me, they've heard that before. The world is fucking drowning in that. And you say, no, but I'm a weight loss coach where you don't have to diet. The answer is still no. Why? Because they've heard that a million times too. But my colleague Suzanne Kohlberg, rather, she, for a while, that was her niche. And her thing was, what if we're overweight because we overgive? And her take was that people who struggle with their weight, it's not that they don't know what to do, that go for a walk, meditate, meal plan, and they know what to do. The reason they don't do it is because they're always busy doing things for other people. Like they do not prioritize their health. And you could say the same for people who want to gain weight. Same principle. Or their business is struggling. There's often I'm giving everything to everyone else first. So you can imagine if you're the person hosting the podcast and somebody comes to you with a unique pitch like that. It's like, oh, that's different. Yeah, I've not heard that before. That's a unique take. feel free to come on the podcast. And she did. She got a lot of interviews. So
Mm.
all that to say, you may have a take about overgiving itself
Mhm.
that is different. And that can go up in the headline or the subheadline. You can lead with that. If you have a counterintuitive, controversial spin on things, like I think, what if we overgive? Like she's like saying, what if we're overweight because we overgive? But you might say, what if you overgive because blank? And maybe you have something that people say, whoa, what's that? And then that can be part of the niche itself, not just who it's for or what you do, but how you do it. Your approach to it can be part of the angle.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Super helpful. Thank you again to everybody in the chat.
You're welcome. Yeah, feel free
Juicy
to
stuff.
feel free to copy the chat, everyone. You might want to copy it. Maybe somebody made a comment for you. You never know.